Hey, everybody, and welcome back to a special edition of Our Uncommon Life. We have gone live with the Riverside and the cameras, and so we're testing a lot of new stuff out, and I think we're having a lot of fun with this. It's been a little bit frustrating at times, but like overall, it's just like something we're learning, and I think it's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to add a lot of. It'll be nice to see our faces, right?
Oh, yeah, I'm sure it's what everybody wants, but hey, we're giving it to you anyway. Zach is totally not used to ring lights and video setup and
Yeah.
social media, so this is like way out of his comfort zone. So, good job, Zach, for pushing yourself outside your comfort zone right now.
Well, thanks. I'm like staring into this like orb of light, and I'm like, man, I'm like, my eyes are gonna like hurt after this. This is crazy.
Hopefully, you don't suffer from aura migraines. Just look at your
I feel
like
like I'm going to after
camera.
this. I'm
Don't
like,
look
I
at
want
the
to close
light.
my eyes. I know. I'm like, I want to put my blue light glasses on now.
You could bring those back. You used to wear those all the time.
I know. And then I started making me nauseous.
Really?
Yeah, I did. That's actually why I stopped wearing them. So
Well, today we want to chat a little bit about love.
yeah, it's you just reminded me it's Valentine's Day coming up, right?
Yeah, we are recording midweek this week, and so Valentine's Day is in a couple days. Now, you guys won't hear this episode until after Valentine's Day. So, if you're hearing this, you missed it.
You missed it. Yep. It's too late. Too late.
It's too
You
late,
know,
but hey, a good bouquet of I'm sorry flowers never hurts either.
I've got a question though. Like, I feel like Valentine's Day is more of a like guys to girls like thing, as opposed to girls like the guys don't get flowers, the guys don't get the chocolates, right? It's like
I don't know. I mean, I've gotten you stuff for Valentine's Day before.
yeah, but like I like is that normal?
So I feel like Sweetest Day is supposed to be the girls or women doing something for the men. And then Valentine's Day is supposed to be vice versa. That's like what I've always heard. But like I feel like I've always gotten you a card and something little. I don't know. I mean, I don't think neither one of us ever goes all out on Valentine's Day. It's usually just something cutesy and little.
Yeah.
I'm still awaiting my trip to Saunders Fudge Factory in Rochester or wherever.
Oh my God. I don't know if we'll do that one. Sounds sounds
So,
great.
anyways, we thought we would talk a little bit about love since it's around Valentine's Day season. And I don't know, Zach, if you hear this with like your clients or friends or who knows, but like I hear a lot like, oh, you guys are so in love and it's so cute and not that's not the same for everybody and it's so nice that you guys are still in love and I'm like, well, that's I hope I'm still in love. I'm married with my husband, but I feel like sometimes as people have gone 10, 12, 15, 20, 30 years, you can kind of like miss that spark a little bit.
Yeah, definitely don't have clients commenting on that. Um,
Yeah, it
but
might be
also,
awkward
like,
for
we
you.
work with a little bit of a different demographic, and I've known many of my clients for years and years and years. And we share some personal details like back and forth, but nothing too in depth. And then those clients that do actually pay attention to us on social media generally get the feel that we're just a business couple. So. um, I'm also working at a different extent with people. So like when you were at the salon, your service is very personal, and we
Yeah.
bring a lot of personal touch to intuitive technologies. However, it's just a completely different type of business. Like you've always said, you touch your client when you were doing hair, right?
Yeah.
And we don't. If I touch someone's hair at work, it'd be weird for them.
That would might be like a lawsuit, to be
Yeah, let me fix your
honest.
computer, and while I'm at it, I'm going to condition and shampoo your hair.
Yeah. So I mean, honestly, we just wanted to bring a little bit of light of little things that Zach and I do together that still keep that feeling of love, that feeling of dating and that excitement, like little things that maybe sometimes when you're in a long-term relationship, you might forget about or not realizing that the other person is doing for you. So we thought we'd kind of just do like a little back and forth of little things that we try to do for each other to still say, "Hey babe, I love you."
Yeah. Aw, I love you too, babe.
Oh, I like it. So go first. Tell me what you do for
Yeah.
me.
Uh, Way to put me on the spot here. Yeah, I try to do a lot of little things. I think one of the big ones, and I keyed in on this like super early in our relationship, is when uh, I had asked you how your day was, or um, asked you about certain things that happened in your day. I try to do that intentionally because I realized you like that, and you would express that, like, that really made you feel like I care about you, and that you'd never had anybody do that before. And so I was like, oh, I'm like, I should probably do that to let her know that I'm constantly interested. And so I think that that's something, I don't know if you've noticed that or not, that I do that, but it's very intentional that I do that. So
I definitely noticed that you do it. I've never realized it was like intentional because it was something I said a long time ago. So I remember vividly the night that I was driving to meet you on one of our very first dates. I don't even think we were like officially dating yet. I think I had just told my sister about you, and her and I had went out with some friends to some movies, and I was meeting you up after, and um I'd called to see like, hey, where are we gonna meet? Are you off work yet? Because of course, you were slinging pizzas back then, and it was late. And you're like, oh, hey, before we get too far, how was the movie with your sister? And I almost started crying because I was like, in a couple really bad relationships, and they never asked how my day was or what I did. If I went out with friends, they didn't ever ask. And so I just always remember that. It's like a super vivid memory. So I think it's very cute that you um, picked up on that and that you're intentional about it. I wouldn't have known that you were intentionally doing that. I thought you genuinely just wanted to know about my day.
well, I do genuinely want to know about your day. That's why I asked. But like, it was one of those things that, because you and I talk so much, and I guess have from the beginning, is I always remember you saying that that meant a lot to you, and I was like, oh, that's something that's important to her. She wants to feel like that, like I'm listening to her, and that I care about how her day went, or how the
Yes.
movie was, or she likes to know that I'm paying attention. So I try to do those things as frequently as I can.
So I mean, I guess that would be like our like first little tip is like pay attention to like what your significant other's saying because sometimes like it's really not that hard. It's like there people are telling you what's important to them every day.
Mhm. Yeah,
So you
if
just
you
gotta
listen,
listen.
yeah,
Mhm.
if you listen, um, they'll leave little nuggets and hints. So yeah, just keep on listening.
It's like Hansel and Gretel. Like they leave like little breadcrumbs.
Yep.
Like if you're paying attention, you'll find the breadcrumbs. Like that's just how it is. So,
Yeah, and I
um,
think like that goes back to a conversation you and I had a long time ago on the podcast, is about like fair expectations, right? Of like,
mhm.
if you're expecting me to ask you that every day, but you never express that you need me to ask that, or that you'd like me to ask that, or that you appreciate it, like, I may not pick up on that, right? And so
Yeah.
it's okay to give me the nudge of like, hey, I liked it when you did this, because that just lets me know, like, oh, I need to replicate more of that behavior. When it's just a silent thing of like, well, he should understand, or she should understand that I like to be asked how my day is, but I've never expressed that. I can't
Yeah.
be frustrated that you're not picking up on it, even though it might seem simple.
I think the realistic conversation there is like, he never even asks me how my day is. You know what I mean? Like that's
Right,
like what I hear a lot. Like,
right.
but yeah, I think because I had expressed that, um, that you picked up on it. So I think, yes, again, it's communicating, but also listening, like saying what you need, but also listening to your partner's needs is super important. So,
Exactly.
something that I really try to do for you, and I have, I remember, I don't know if it was when we got married or engaged, but somebody gave me a book that was like, Women Want Love and Men Want Respect, or some sort of title like that. And I had never really thought of that before because, like, women do kind of want like that ooey gooey love, and guys do too, let's be real. But like, more importantly, like, I think a man wants to feel respected, and um I always try to make sure that I send you cute texts or in our conversations, um, or just even on the podcast. Like, I try to make sure I tell Zach that I'm proud of you. You work really hard. I respect what you're trying to do for us and for our family and for our future and our name. And I think it's really important to do that. And it's not every single day, but I definitely try to make sure that that's out there. More often than not. It's not a weekly thing, it's not even a monthly thing, but I think just sometimes when I'm thinking about it, uh, to send that kind of a text, or just to like hug your partner and say, "Hey, I'm really proud of you. You've been working really hard lately and you've built something really cool."
Mm.
So, that's something that I try to do for you.
Well, thanks. I appreciate that. Yeah, I that's something I definitely noticed. Like the thing, I like the first time you said it, like it was probably like an awkward moment for us because I was like, and you may not have picked up on it, but I don't know if I'd ever been told that before. So I'm like, that that's kind of like an awkward thing for me to hear. It's kind of like the "I love you" thing, where it was like if you're not used to expressing that or saying that, like it kind of throws you off, right? So,
Yeah.
um, yeah, it was funny because like Maya brought that to my attention. Our niece, it was like, "You never say I love you," and I was like, "You're right, I don't." And she was just like blown away by that. I was like, "Well, I tell Vina that I love her all the time," and she goes, "Do you not love me?" And I'm like, "No, that's not what that doesn't mean." I'm like, I just, like I reserve that. Like that's reserved. Like I only like I don't say I only say it when I mean it, but like that to me is a specific kind of like, you know, intensity behind that I'm like only one person gets that. So, you know, but the proudness like that's how when only one person hears I love you,
Yeah.
that's the weight that proudness carries from me. So like when I hear I'm proud of you, I'm like I've never heard that. That must be intense. And so like I received that in like a really like it took me an adjustment to get used to hearing that. It's still kind of awkward.
Well, honestly, I think a lot of times as women, we kind of forget that, like, guys need that too. Like, men need the like praise, or even just like your opposite partner, whomever, like, everybody needs a little bit of praise every once in a while. And I feel like men have to be so rough and tough and not vulnerable, and not emotion and gooey, but it's like, you need to hear that, like, I'm proud of you and that you work hard and that I appreciate all of that. Like, I think that's like really important to like let your partner know. So
I would agree. So thanks for
yeah.
letting me know.
Yeah, of course. Hey,
Um,
your turn.
all right. So something else I do for you. I know specifically you like don't like this one, but it's habit because I feel that it's like the right thing to do. But it's um, like when we're crossing the street and I might hold you back like real quick because I see a car or like holding the door for you, that kind of thing. Like sometimes you don't like that, and um, it's just habit for me. It's like um, the stuff that I'm supposed to do as a man, as a gentleman. You know what I mean? Like that's kind of
Yes.
how I was taught and how I was raised. So I'm like kind of like shocked when you're like, "Don't do that."
Wow, I sound just like that. I'm
You're like,
sure.
"I can get my own door."
I always appreciate you being a gentleman, and you always are. I There's like twofold there. I sometimes have an issue when I think people think I'm doing something wrong. So sometimes, like when we're in a parking lot and there's a car coming and you're like, babe, come on. Like you kind of do it quickly. And I know you're just trying to protect me, but like I've seen that car. I'm fine. I'm walking. They're not going to hit me. I walk in parking lots every day. Like I feel like you're telling me like I'm doing it wrong or something. And so, and I know that's not the intent behind it. So that's just something that I have to work on, is constructive criticism or, help like that.
Yeah, I can tell you that there's no like the intent behind it is selfish if it makes you feel better. Like I don't want to see someone get hit and killed by a car. And
Yeah.
so it's
Yeah.
not about you, it's about me selfishly, like if that makes you feel better. Or I can just let you go and the day you do get hit by a car, I'm like, well, I told you so.
I think it's more of like me in my mind, I am thinking that you think, oh, my wife doesn't even see that. Oh, my silly wife. Like, I got to get her out of the way. And it's like, I see it. Like, so,
Yeah, no, I think I do that just
but
in the off chance that you don't see it. Because
yeah, that's true.
the day that I don't do that because I think you see it is the day that something crazy happens.
That's true.
You know,
I will take the backup. I'll take the backup set of eyes. But then also the walking into like, or I don't like to walk into a restaurant first, especially if there's like it's like real crowded in there. Like
Mhm.
I don't like to be like the one to like go up to the hostess stand and like I'm more of a let me be in the back, let you lead in. Like I know like I do really love would you put your hand on the small of my back and like lead me somewhere? I like that. But there's something about like walking into a restaurant like with you behind me. I don't love it. I'm sure like security purposes cuz we need security. Like I'm sure it's better that you're, you know what I mean, as a man, like safeguarding me in that way. But I just, for some reason, I just get like nervous to walk in first. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, I don't know where that tradition started. Actually, I'll have to look that up because I don't know if it is a security thing to make sure somebody isn't following you into
Yeah.
a room or something like that, or if it was just more of a ladies' first thing. But it's like something that I had always been taught, and it's habit for me. But it is something I do for you that it's interesting because in my mind that's something that you would appreciate all the time. That's not necessarily receive that. So I'm glad we're talking about this because maybe I just won't hold the door for you anymore, or save you from moving vehicles.
No, please still do those things. Those are just like inner things that like I need to work on. Like that's just weird little quirky things that I have. So
No, I mean
I
like
do.
I would understand it from a perspective of like I'd say like a really independent person that is like that makes them feel kind of like I don't need someone to hold the door for me. Like I don't need somebody to like I understand that. Like I would get that. So I don't know if that's necessarily something you should work on, unless that's something you feel like, why do I feel this way? Like that doesn't make any sense. But maybe it's something it's just unnecessary for me to do.
I probably just need to be more of the, wife that just submits to her husband and lets
It's
him lead the way.
it's
Um,
biblical. Wives should be submissive.
hmm, wow. Yeah. I don't think it's like an independent thing at all. I think it's just I feel like I'm being reprimanded. That's probably the feeling
Yeah.
of it is like yeah, like smack on the wrist, move over. But I do honestly appreciate that you do it. It's just like a weird internal feeling. So thank you for protecting me. I appreciate it. Something that I do for you, that's just a little cute little thing is I always try to make sure that there is almond milk and blueberries in the fridge for you. So, it's just something I know that that's part of your morning routine. And I want to make sure that you have that and that you're not like looking for it or it's going to set your day off funky. So I always try to have that ready for you.
Yeah. I've noticed that for like the past several months, and I really appreciate it. And that is something that like you subtly took and just started doing, which I love that you picked up on that, and I love that you noticed that and that you do that. and I have a little bit of a confession to make um, about the blueberries. And
What?
I want to be honest and transparent here in this new form of video.
Oh God.
Um,
Listen, I will listen and not judge. I will listen and not judge.
there is, I'm embarrassed about this. There is, there was some blueberries you got, like, this is several weeks ago. They're gone now. They weren't washed, and you had always washed them up until that point. And so
Mhm.
I opened the fridge. I'm like, oh, the blueberries aren't ready. And I closed the fridge.
You didn't
And
just
then
wash them?
the next day I opened it. It was like, oh, still not washed. Closed the fridge. And this went on for like a week.
Zach, I can't believe you did that. That's like me not changing the trash and seeing how long it takes you to change the trash. It's like the same thing.
Well, that's the difference though, is I wasn't seeing how long it would take you to do the blueberries. I was just thinking they'd magically be washed one day. And what I honestly realized through the process is there's like I mean I don't know, how do I say this? I was taking certain things for granted, right? That like
Oh, yeah.
there'd be almond milk and blueberries, and the blueberries would be prepared and ready to eat for me because I just deserve that, right?
Well, I mean, like
It's
90%
not,
of the time I do that.
yeah, but like at that point, like it's not that big of a deal. I can wash the blueberries. Like, what kind of expectations do I have? I'm like, well, they've always been prepped and washed, and
Hmm.
so like they should be this time. But like I said, like if I really broke that down, it was like, man, I'm really taking for granted that these blueberries are just magically washed when they appear here, and I kind of felt like a jerk for a minute, and I was like, you know what? I'm like, I'm still not gonna wash the blueberries. Let's see how long this goes.
Wow. I think I eventually did wash them.
You did.
Most of the time, if I don't wash a set of blueberries and they're organic and your almond milk is organic, um, if I don't wash the blueberries, it's because the washed ones from the last grocery trip are still there. And I want to like make sure those are gone before I put the other ones in like a fresh bowl. So we don't get them like all mixed up and like there's a couple rando squishy ones. So
I
they
dug
probably
through
got
that fridge and
pushed
there were no blueberries. None.
the first time you noticed it.
Yeah.
Well, I just was off then.
No,
Some
no,
days
no.
when I get home from the grocery store, it's like I'm really great and I get all the produce out and I wash it right away and I
Yeah.
chop all the veggies and I do all
Mhm.
the prep like right when I get home. And then some days it's like I'm doing this Thursday. Like I'll just like push it off to like a different day.
No, I like I said, like for me that was more of like a realization that I had that was like, whoa, wait a second, like I'm getting a little bit out of hand. Vienna is doing something super nice for me, making sure I have the specific almond milk that I like
Mm-hmm.
and the specific blueberries that I like. And it's a little bit out of hand if I'm like, yeah, I'm not gonna eat this until they're washed. Like it's like being an adult and asking like your mom to cut your steak for you, like in bite-sized pieces. Like,
Oh my gosh.
you know what I mean? Like,
Mhm.
I it was ridiculous. So I admit it, but I also acknowledge and thank you so much for making sure that I always have blueberries and almond milk.
We'll see if they get washed from here out. Might not even buy them. Might not even get any organic ones. No, I'll
You're
still
gonna
do that. I know it's
replace
important.
the. You're gonna put the regular ones in the organic thing just to spite me.
Just to spite you. No, that'd be not nice. So, I don't know. Is there anything else? I feel like it's, oh, I have
Yeah,
one. But,
I've got one for you.
ooh.
I mean, this one you probably know and recognize it, but I like surprising you. I
Oh,
like
yeah,
to,
I do.
yeah, I like to. I really like buying handbags. There's
Yes.
something
And you buy
very
really
like,
good ones.
yeah, there's something like, I don't know. It's just like I like buying handbags for you. I don't know if it's just kind of I don't. It's because I don't know anybody that does it. I don't know if it's what it is, but I like picking handbags for you. So I like to bring home surprises every once in a while. Not necessarily for a birthday or a special occasion or anything, um, but definitely like to surprise you every once in a while. That makes me feel good.
Thanks. I think I still have on our Uncommon Life Instagram, um, when you accidentally left the Versace bag in the closet and you were like looking at it and then you got an emergency call and you left and I came home from work and there was a Versace box and I was like, oh, is this for me? What do I do? And so I did a whole like stories like, should I open it? Should I not open it? And everybody's like, open it. So
Those
it was fun.
jerks.
Yeah. So it's fun. I do really appreciate the handbags because I wouldn't buy those myself because like the ones that I want are gonna be expensive. Like they're not gonna be like the mid-grade ones. They're gonna be like up there. And I just feel like I could revamp my wardrobe,
Mhm.
depending on what type of clothes I was buying or like brands, but I could get a lot for what one handbag would cost. So sometimes that's how I'd rather buy 5 bottles of perfume, a couple new tops and a pair of new tennis shoes for
Right.
myself. So, but I do like a good handbag. You're the first person ever to buy me a nice handbag.
Yeah.
Did you know that?
No, I didn't know
Yeah, yeah. Before you,
that.
I was carrying like Old Navy, like
Which is
little
nothing wrong with. I mean, we're also
like
young and we're
satchels. No,
also
there's not.
yeah. But I became like I don't know, the first like luxury brand, designer brand that I enjoyed was Burberry because
Yeah.
nobody I knew had it,
Yeah.
and so I like that, and I think the first bag I got you was a Burberry.
The very first bag you got me was I think the very first bag you got me was a Coach. We went to a Coach store and picked out a bag. It was like around our like 1 year wedding anniversary or something like
Yeah,
that. And then after that was you bought me a Burberry bag and Burberry like flats.
flats. Yeah,
Mhm.
yep.
So super cute. Loved it. I think something that I do, and it's not necessarily for you, but it's like uh in honor of you. I don't know if that makes sense at all.
I'm not
But
dead yet.
I have a little box of trinkets. Little things that I've collected and saved over the years from like Valentine's days and anniversaries. And I have all of our cards that we've ever exchanged. I mean, you have yours, I think, but like I have a whole box. I have a box of menus from when we've traveled and plane ticket, like boarding passes and different little like notepads from hotels we've stayed in.
Hmm.
Our 1 year anniversary dating, you surprised me with balloons that had 365 little paper origami handmade butterflies that you painstakingly made.
Broken
And
thumb and
hung
all.
them in my room back when I lived at home still. And I
Yeah,
have a whole bunch of those. And so every time I like look at my little trinkets, like it just kind of reminds me like where I came from and like where I'm at now. And like the type of men I used to date compared to the like man that I am with and share my life with now. And it makes me really emotional. And so I hope that when I reminisce and look back, it's sending the good vibes and good energy. And I hope you know that it makes me appreciate what we have so much. And I love looking through that box. I did it the other day and was sobbing. So,
yeah, yeah. I was
yeah.
like, "What's wrong, babe? Oh my god!"
And I was like, thank you for loving me so much. But it's
Funny.
good. It's good to remember and reflect because gosh, in the minutia of life, like we forget sometimes. And so I think sometimes you need to go back and remember. And like look at the little notes and look at the little cards and just kind of, you know, it's always about the little things. So,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
mean, those little paper butterflies mean more to me than the Versace bag.
yeah,
So, I mean, to put that in context, like that is a memory. The Versace bag is just cute. So it is cute. I
Um,
get compliments on it all the time.
I love that bag.
So yeah, a little trinkety box that
Yeah,
is just my like ode to our relationship.
that's fun. I think that for me, like I'm glad those butterflies mean more because, like, for me, like I remember being on the phone with you or typing like on Facebook, like Messenger to you on my computer, like while I was folding those, right?
Aw.
And like it took me probably weeks to do all that and put that together. And then I probably almost died getting the balloons to your house because it was a brilliant idea to fill your room entirely with balloons. And I had done like the mathematical equation of how many balloons would
Oh,
fit in the room specifically and had the perfect number of butterflies for our anniversary and all of those things planned out, right? And then when I got to Kroger or wherever I was filling the balloons at, I was like, oh my God, like 100 or 150 of these or however many it was will not fit in my Mazda, in my
I don't
sedan.
think 150 balloons would fit in anybody's car.
I,
That's a lot of balloons.
yeah, it's a thought that didn't cross my mind. I knew how many would fit in your room, but not thinking your room is bigger than my car.
Just a little bit.
Yeah, just like I had this image of like what I wanted, and then I ran into that obstacle, which is funny. But yeah, I remember like trying to turn like down streets and stuff like that, and not being able to see, and like trying to swim these balloons away. And yeah, I'm glad I made it alive to your house to
Oh
fill
my
your room with
gosh.
those. But I'm glad that means more to you because like that was that was something I put a lot of time and effort into, and I thought you might like, and I thought that was cool. I think that it is important to know that like over time though, like we don't do as many of those things, right?
No.
And
Mm-mm.
sometimes now like not that I should, but sometimes you do reach for the quicker, the more convenient gift. Um,
Like
and
the Ninja Creamy.
well, that was actually more of a surprise than a gift. Like that was one of my surprises. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Um,
it was cute.
you just said, "Oh, that's for my birthday," but
Yeah.
yeah, I think it's important to know that like as we change and grow, like there's a lot of things that we do differently now, right? And back then there were a lot of things that were different in our life, and so the fact that you don't hold it against me that I do 365 butterflies with, or however many, my God, it'd be a million butterflies at this point. So what is it? We've been married for 13 years, so 13 times 365. Like,
It would be more than that because that was our year dating. So you'd have to do 16 years
yeah,
times.
it'd be crazy, right? So if you expected me to do that every year,
You
number
know
one,
you've done the quick math. What is that math?
no, it's probably like 5,400 butterflies.
Okay.
But still, by hand, like I would need some major help.
Get
Um,
working.
yeah, but can you imagine the balloons? But
Take the whole house.
yeah, I think the point is like as we've grown and changed, we don't expect each other to behave in the exact same way that we used to. We've changed behaviors that we don't like out of respect for each other, and we've also changed behaviors just out of us changing. And so, like, no, I don't do that anymore because I don't necessarily have the time to do that anymore. However, I am pretty intentional about most of the gifts that I pick. Or if I just see something that Venus mentioned that she would like the Ninja Creamy, I thought that was like I loved getting that gift because you had mentioned it so many times, and I was like, oh, she's just going to be surprised one day that I got this for her. So
That was
I thought that
cute.
was a
I
cool one.
did like that.
So while I don't necessarily do those things, like I try to do that, and it goes along the same lines of like when we're out to eat and you that's why I almost always order appetizer with you, is because like I know that like I bought the onion rings, you know.
And
It's
the
so
bacon wrapped scallops.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Um, so I try to do those things because I know that that's something you've always appreciated. So those are little things that I can do that I've done for the longevity of our relationship, but I won't always be able to do the same things over and over. And I appreciate that you acknowledge that.
Yeah. I do like I just want to remind people again, like that might be like hot tip number 2 is like things aren't always going to stay the exact same as when you first got together, like things change and everything ebbs and flows and as we get older and busier and like we don't even have kids, but like with our businesses and things, it's not going to look like 365 handmade butterflies anymore. Zach does not have time for that. You might like see if one of the guys will help you make them or something, or the kids, my sister's kids, or, but it's not going to look the same. And you can't always hold on to that. Now, like if you never did anything nice for me ever again after that, that might be a different story, but it's like you need to look at all the things that are being done, not just like a huge grand romantic gesture. It
Yeah.
can be something little. So,
Yeah, and I think
that's
like the important, like one of the important parts about that is like communicating stuff. Like the conversation you and I are having right now is actually beneficial to me because like I recognize like maybe some of the things that you do for me that I didn't realize you do, or vice versa, and the things that you like and the things that I don't like, or the things you don't like, right? Like this all helps kind of build that, like reinforce like what I should do more of, or maybe it's like you think I'm not thoughtful enough with my gift giving. And so like I can take that feedback, and even though it sucks to hear it, now I can get better at it, right? At least you've afforded
yeah.
me the opportunity to get better at it. Because I said like probably took me a while to notice the blueberries and the almond milk, right? But had I never noticed that and we never had this conversation, I might be like, God, my wife. Actually, I feel weird saying this because I would never say it. I'd be like, but my wife never does anything for me, right? But if you were standing next to me and you heard me say that, you'd be like, Zach, can I get you almond milk and blueberries? Like, you never run out of them. You have like this endless supply that just magically appears. And sometimes they're washed and sometimes they're not, but they're there.
But they are there all the time. I mean, even just like little things, like I will say, like I just thought of one as you were saying that, like just drilling home the point of it can be just something little to let your person know that you care about them. Like I love like if you have worked a really really long night and you're trying to get an extra couple minutes of sleep, I usually will be like, "Hey babe, do you want me to start a shower for you?" And I try to always put a towel there even if you don't realize that I've put a towel there for you.
Yeah.
But I try, you know what I mean? Like if it gives you an extra 5 minutes just for me to get like the water warm and so you don't have to, do all that yourself. Like it's just little tiny things that just show somebody that like you care. And I really think that like that's why you and I do still seem like we're googly eyed over each other because we do little things. It's just the littles that make
Yeah,
the big impacts at the end of the
they
day.
do.
So
They do for sure. So, yeah,
yeah.
this was fun. This was a really good conversation. I like this idea for this podcast.
Yeah. I was just, in a lovey mood and it's just the season. So, and since I'm ditching you for Valentine's Day and hanging out with my cousins and my sister,
Yeah, so
I
that's the
thought,
big question. Do I get to skip Valentine's Day this year? Do I have to have my gift early or do I give it late?
I don't know. We'll have to see. We will have to
I don't
see.
I don't know if that's fair. Like what are the expectations here?
The expectations are there are no expectations. I honestly like hanging out tonight and tomorrow night. I think we have date night tomorrow night. So, just doing that is just perfect enough and letting me, I shouldn't say letting me, but like I'm going up to Traverse City. We're like hanging out in our condo with all my cousins and family and my very best girlfriend and like that is perfect, like the fact
Huh.
that you're not like you're leaving me, you're going, you know what I mean? Like just the freedom and flexibility to like live my life is the romantic gesture. So
That sounds like a trap.
it is. I never expect things. It's nice when I get things, but it's
Yeah.
not like expected.
Oh,
So,
I know you don't still.
yeah. So, yeah, just to make sure that hopefully this episode is like a reminder for our listeners. If you're out there and you've been harping on your loved one or just feeling in a rut, just try to maybe reflect on some of the like little things that maybe they're doing for you and you don't even realize it's like an act of love, open up a conversation about it. I just think it's really important to like just look at all of the things. So
I would agree. And pay attention
yeah.
to all the little things too. So
Yeah.
awesome. Thanks for watching or listening. And hopefully we
Whichever
start
way you're
doing
listening.
more of
And don't
this.
forget to, I mean, we're going to be on YouTube now. So if you're listening to us on a platform, please check us out on YouTube, follow our channel there, and then also like and subscribe. We'd really appreciate it.